Do you sometimes get a pain in the shoulder when you reach overhead? Oftentimes, a pain in the shoulder can come from a problem in the neck. In this video, we're going to show you how to assess to see if your shoulder problem might be related to your neck. And more importantly, we're going to show you a great technique to relieve some pain in your shoulder and get your shoulder and neck feeling better immediately. Let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Mauro Burnett, physical therapist and postgraduate physical therapy educator here in the US. I'm excited about today's episode because we're going to share with you a technique that I do every day in the clinic. It's a technique by a famous therapist from New Zealand named Brian Mulligan. It's a technique where we're going to manipulate the spine in such a way to relieve pain on your arm when you reach overhead. First of all, let's do a little bit of an assessment to see if your shoulder pain could possibly be tied into your neck problem. A good way to assess if you have right shoulder pain, first of all, we might just think to ourselves, did I do anything to my right shoulder? Did I fall on it? Did I bump it? Okay, maybe you have this shoulder pain that's gotten worse recently and you haven't really done any specific injury to your shoulder. That starts to look suspicious. The next question we might ask ourselves is, do I have a history of neck problems? Do I have a history of neck pain? If you have obvious tingling numbness down the arm, that's a classic sign that you could have some problems with your neck. The upper neck could give you headaches or dizziness, so we'll think about that as well. But an easy thing to look at is just, do I have tightness when turning my neck? When you turn to the right or when you turn to the left, do you get an obvious tightness? If you have shoulder pain, let's say for example, lifting the right arm, and you just happen to notice that your neck is tighter when you turn to the right, or possibly tighter when you side bend to the right, or even the biggie of all of them is rotation, side bend, and extend to the right. If that produces pain in the lower neck, and maybe even produces pain in the arm, now we're looking like we have a possible match. So in this scenario, we're going to say we do have a possible match. I have more pain turning to the right than I do the left, and coincidentally, my arm hurts when I get to about 90 or maybe 100 degrees elevation. If that's the case, then this technique might work great for you. Just as a precaution, right, when you're doing this technique, if it makes you worse, if it makes you feel unduly sore, don't do it. Maybe it's not for you. We'll move on to the next thing. Maybe go find a physical therapist or doctor in your neighborhood that can help. But if this fits and it feels well and it helps, this can be a great tip. Okay, now that we got the precautions out of the way, let's get into looking at a spine model to see exactly how this technique helps. All right, I've got my spine model here, and I'm going to use this to kind of demonstrate what we're up to. The first technique, we're going to do two techniques, but the first technique that we're going to do is called a spinal mobilization with arm movement. What I'm going to do is kind of manipulate one of the vertebrae here, C4. I'll kind of give you a shot here, right? This is C1, C2, C3, C4, 5, 6, and 7. C7 is the very big vertebra at the base of your neck, where your neck and your upper back meets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the C4 vertebra, C1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to pull it in one direction. Let's say I pull it in this direction towards the left, and then I would reach up with my right arm. When I do that, come in kind of close here, when I pull the C4, what it's going to do is kind of gap open that space. See how that space gaps open? That's going to create a therapeutic movement that will allow the nerve in the joint to ease up, which oftentimes results in relief when reaching overhead. So this is what it looks like. I take my hand. We're going to use the right arm as the example. I go down. I find that very big bone at the base, that's C7. I count up one vertebra, that's C6, then C5, and then C4. I gently pull, I sustain it, and then I lift my arm as far as I can comfortably without pain. If I got it right, I'll notice an immediate improvement with my range of motion with less pain. Make sure you keep pressure all the way down. Once you're down, then you can relieve the pressure, but keep that pressure all the way up, and then keep that pressure all the way back down. If this works well, you could do up to 6 repetitions, and you could easily do this 2 or 3 times during the day. This is a great assessment to see if your neck and your shoulder pain are related, but more importantly, it's a great treatment option. You do this, you notice it's a lot better. Wow, within a few days of practicing this, you should see some immediate improvements in your comfort and your range of motion. Now let's get into our second exercise for helping arm pain. For exercise number 2, we're going to do a towel snag technique away from the side that has pain in order to open that joint. We're going to use that same example as earlier, the C4, C5. We're going to say that's the problem. And then I'm going to show you how we can do this with this towel. Medium-sized hand towel, pretty handy. We're going to take the sewn edge of the towel, the selvage, and then I'm going to place that towel behind my neck. We're going to find the C4 vertebra, just like we did in the previous technique. Right? Let's say I've already found it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to crisscross. My left hand's going to drop, reach over and grab the right side. I might free up the cloth a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up at a 45, and then I'm going to rotate gently away from the pain as long as that doesn't hurt. And I might do that 3 to 6 reps. Once I've completed that, I'm going to reassess to see if it feels better with rotating to the right. Just like in the previous technique, sometimes if I open or gap open the joint, it helps the joint resettle a little bit better, and it might improve turning to the right. This technique works the best when right rotation is worse and left rotation is not too bad. If it's equally bad on both sides, it may not be as effective going away from the pain. In that scenario, you may have to actually go towards the pain. Same idea, 3 to 6 reps. On your first day, if you were in my clinic, we would only do 2 reps, and we would assess to make sure that it's helping, just as kind of a safety precaution. Give it a day. If you notice it didn't flare you up, everything's okay, then we would progress to the up to 6 reps. But on your first time doing it, maybe just do a couple reps. Make sure it's comfortable. But great technique, rotate away, gap open that joint, takes a little bit of pressure off, and then when you're done, reassess to see how your arm feels. If it feels better, now you've got another great option. Sometimes option 1 works better, sometimes option 2 works better. At least this gives you a couple options. Well, I'm excited for you guys to give this a try. Don't forget to drop a comment and let me know how it worked for you. I'd love to hear if someone out there immediately saw some relief. Well, thanks for watching today's video. Remember, you could subscribe to this channel to receive more videos like this in the future on physical therapy related tips. And hit that like button or share it with a friend. We'll see you next time on Physio Tips with Mauro.